Next up in our series revisiting the MCU, we have 2008's other Marvel film, The Incredible Hulk. And here we go. What holds up? First of all, it's great that director Louis Leterrier and writer Zach Penn made The Incredible Hulk more of a continuation of the old 70s TV show than a sequel to the 2003 Ang Lee film. They ignored all the weird changes Lee made to the character's backstory. You know, like Nick Nolte as Hulk's mumbling father who turns into a giant energy creature. Instead, they brought Bruce Banner back to basics and let the Hulk smash.
Hulk! Smash!
It's also refreshing that they didn't restage the Hulk's origin. At this point, we all know how the Hulk became the Hulk. And even if we don't, does it really matter? We know the bullet points. He turns into a big angry green guy who smashes stuff. Spending an hour on the finer points of how all this started only serves to delay the smashing. The bare minimum of information we need is shown in the opening credits, which are also a fun homage to the Hulk TV show credits. But after the credits, things start to suck. What doesn't hold up? Abomination, this movie's bad guy, looks like a bony turd. So I'm gonna say that doesn't hold up. Neither does the overall look of the Incredible Hulk. Its hideous villain is laughable, but appropriate. The ugliest MCU movie deserves the ugliest Marvel bad guy. The Incredible Hulk is dim, murky, and drab. The Hulk is a dingy, pond water green. With so many muscle striations, he always looks like a man who desperately wants to poop, but can't. Comic book movies are all, on some level, about visual spectacle. We want to bask in these wondrous, impossible images. But the Incredible Hulk is consistently unpleasant to look at. The computer effects are atrocious, like Tim Roth's new super soldier muscles. He looks like someone started a creator wrestler in WWE 2K18, but then got bored halfway through and gave up. And who thought it was a good idea to cast Tim Roth as the world's most elite military officer? Roth is a great actor, but he's so wrong for this part that he makes the choice of Liv Tyler, playing cellular biologist Betty Ross, seem inspired. Coolest foreshadowing of future Marvel events. Although S.H.I.E.L.D. is almost never mentioned and Agent Coulson doesn't pop up for a cameo, the organization's logo appears on screen several times. There's one sequence when the US government intercepts an email from Bruce Banner to Dr. Samuel Stearns, a scientist who's trying to cure Banner's gamma sickness. In close-up, we see that S.H.I.E.L.D. was actually listening in on these communications through a FISA warrant. And technically this isn't foreshadowing of future Marvel events, but it does feel prescient in a way. Best Marvel Easter egg. The Incredible Hulk has a Stan Lee cameo, of course, but it has a second tip of the cap to the man. The pizza parlor on the campus of Culver University is called Stanley's, a clear nod to Stan Lee. And I hear their Excelsior eggplant parmesan is outstanding. Also, special shout out to this mention of Vita Rays, which were used to trigger the super soldier serum in Captain America: First Avenger. Final verdict. 10 years later, it's kind of astonishing that The Incredible Hulk has a better Rotten Tomatoes score than the Ang Lee film. In hindsight, it seems like audiences were so annoyed with Lee's more psychological approach to the character that they were happy to get a straightforward action movie that was deferential to the Hulk's classic mythology. I'm not sure any sequel has ever benefited more from lowered expectations, because, by any other measure, The Incredible Hulk is a disaster. Norton was a decent choice for Bruce Banner, but Roth and Tyler, who has zero chemistry with Norton, are both terrible. Tim Blake Nelson Stearns has so little screen time that he's forced to go from brilliant scientist to deranged lunatic in the span of a single scene. He also gets saddled with possibly the single worst line of dialogue in the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I don't know what you've got inside you already. The mixture could be an abomination.
There's also this tease that the gamma radiation is mutating him, and he'll become the comic book villain, the Leader. However, since we never see the Leader appear in a movie or TV show, it's far more likely that Stearns died of gamma radiation poisoning. Over the years, there's been plenty of rumors about another Hulk solo movie, but it's probably a good thing that these projects never came to fruition. Both Hulk movies expose the character's major cinematic flaw. We invest all this time and emotion into Bruce, and then he turns into a rampaging, computer-generated monster for all of the action sequences. Iron Man gives you that shot from inside his helmet of Tony Stark's face. We actively hear Peter Parker quipping from beneath his Spider-Man mask.
No, that's definitely not what you want to watch. Just
your impressions are very funny.
Even when they're doing heroic stuff, the characters keep their humanity, and no one's figured out how to do that with the Hulk. That's why he's so much better as a supporting player in the Avengers and Thor Ragnarok. He doesn't have to shoulder the film's emotional load, and he's free to beat up a lot of dudes. It also helps that the Hulk CGI improved by the Avengers. That version actually looks like Mark Ruffalo, but the Hulk in The Incredible Hulk looks more like a young Jack Nicholson than Ed Norton. So The Incredible Hulk is pretty bad. It is also, in the grand scope of Marvel, one of the most important projects they ever made. The key moment comes 2 minutes and 51 seconds into the film. That's when an on-screen graphic flashes requisition request U.S. Army Stark Industries. And we see the Stark Industries logo, the exact same logo from Iron Man, on blueprints for an advanced weapons system. Later in Incredible Hulk, we'll see those same weapons in action. In a post-credits scene, Tony Stark talks to General Ross, played by William Hurt, about a mysterious team he's putting together.
I hear you have an unusual problem.
And that scene doesn't make a lot of sense once you see the Avengers. Tony refers to Ross's problem, meaning the Hulk, as if the team he's putting together is going to take down Banner instead of recruiting him. In which case, did Tony and Bruce ever discuss Stark Industries making weapons to kill the Hulk? Is that where Veronica came from? Let us know in the comments if you think this post-credits scene makes any kind of sense. But the sheer fact that these two movies crossed over into the other was genuinely groundbreaking in 2008. Remember, at this point, Marvel was still distributing its movies through partnerships with other studios. Iron Man was released by Paramount, and The Incredible Hulk was a Universal picture. Two movies from two studios with this kind of synergy was, and still is, very rare. In the early days of Marvel Studios, when the notion of a shared cinematic universe was still largely theoretical, pulling this off was a major breakthrough. The movie around it wasn't exciting or particularly entertaining, but this one element was truly incredible. What did you guys think of The Incredible Hulk? Is it overrated, underrated? Please let us know in the comments. And while you're here, don't forget to subscribe.